Hello, it's Malcolm here. This is like a little bonus extra video I'm putting up. It's also a story about long-range fighter development, and it's taken from our book, American Spitfire, Camouflage and Markings Part 1. Off we go. One of the most difficult aircraft development problems during the Second World War was to provide a single-engined, long-range escort fighter. Lord Portal, Chief of the Air Staff, RAF, refused to allow development resources to develop a long-range Spitfire fighter, even though by October 1942, PR Mark 11 reconnaissance aircraft were in production. These could fly to Berlin and back, admittedly with no fuel allowance for combat, and this was more than a year before the first P-51B Merlin engine Mustangs arrived in the European theatre. Prior to January 1944, the United States Army Air Forces preferred the Lockheed P-38 Lightning as its long-range fighter, with the early Allison engine P-51 seen basically as a fighter bomber. However, from September 1943, the Fighter Airplane Range Extension Program and the magnificent P-51B, which possessed the longest range of any fighter in the world, saved the 8th Air Force daylight bombing campaign over Europe. However, General Hap Arnold, Chief of the Air Force, decided to tweak the noses of the RAF for not attempting to develop the Spitfire into a long-range escort fighter. He obtained two Spitfire Mark 9s, one of which was MK210. This is the aircraft we have photographs of in this video. He had the engineers at Wright Field, Ohio, convert some interior space into fuel tanks and add underwing drop tanks. The result was a range close to 1,600 miles. Fulfilling General Arnold's plan, two Wright Field test pilots were to fly the Spitfires across the Atlantic and thereby demonstrate to the RAF the Spitfire's range potential. Departing in May 1944, Lieutenant Colonel Gustav Lundquist, who was Chief Experimental Fighter Test Pilot of the Flight Test Section at Wright Field, flew MK210 to Boscombe Down, England, together with the second modified Spitfire and a B-25, which flew along with them to act as their navigational pathfinder. Refueling stops were made at Goose Bay, Baffin Island, Greenland, Iceland, and Prestwick in Scotland. Leaving Wright Field, the second Spitfire experienced engine problems, and Lundquist waited for it in Greenland. In Greenland, a Sergeant Petter added this outrageous nose art to MK210. Tolly was Lundquist's wife's name, and one assumes that the lady in the picture is not his wife, but is on the phone giving the RAF a wake-up call about the Spitfire's range potential. All three aircraft eventually flew on to England in June, demonstrating that a truly long-range Spitfire fighter was possible. However, the British never took up this American initiative. And here our story ends. I'm going to turn the pages of the American Camouflage and Spitfire book now so you can get an idea of its contents. This is actually a revised edition, but it still dates from some years ago. The book is by myself and Paul Ludwig, and this is Paul. And here are the pages on the range extension program. Roughly applied markings for Operation Torch in this photo. This is Captain Frank Hill. We've actually done decals for his aircraft in 1/32nd scale. You can find those on our website, venturapublications.com. It's an early production Mark 9. I think we were the first to illustrate this aircraft correctly with the individual code letter K. Prior to that, for some reason, it had been illustrated as X. These are South African operated Spitfires, with the roundel having a centre dot of orange rather than red. And that concludes our video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. It's certainly an interesting little side story to the Spitfire. Please do hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it helps me build the channel. And if you're of a mind to, you can buy me a coffee. Thanks, and bye for now.